When we think of ancient texts, we usually think of wisdom or history or spiritual guidance. But what if there's something else hiding in plain sight? A hidden layer of mathematics, a kind of numerical code, just waiting to be found? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating claim that suggests exactly that, deep within the pages of the Quran.
And this is really the big question, isn't it? We're going to explore a series of numerical findings that supposedly pop right out of this 1,400-year-old text. It's a claim that's definitely going to raise some eyebrows, so let's not wait. Let's just jump right in and look at the results first. Okay, let's start with this number, 777777, a perfect repeating string of sevens. I mean, that's pretty striking, right? But the question is, where on earth does it come from? Now, before I tell you, just take a look at this next one. And now this, 15,876. Now, on its own, that might not look like much, but it's actually a perfect square. It's exactly 126 times 126. So we've got a string of sevens and a perfect square. Now, what if I told you that both of these numbers are supposedly generated from the very same line of text? So yeah, where are these numbers actually being pulled from? Is this just some random coincidence, or is there a specific, repeatable logic behind it all? Let's trace these numbers all the way back to their origin. All right, so the source for both of these incredible calculations is claimed to be this one single verse from the Quran, Surah 15, Ayat 87. Now, before we really break down how that works, let's just quickly make sure we're on the same page with what those terms mean. It's actually pretty simple. A surah is just a chapter, and an ayah is a verse inside that chapter. So when we say Surah 15, Ayah 87, we're just talking about chapter 15, verse 87. Easy enough. Now here's where it gets really interesting. We're not even looking at the entire verse. The claim zeroes in on a very specific phrase inside that verse, and even specific words within that phrase. This right here is the phrase at the very heart of the claim. According to this whole theory, the exact position of these words within the text is the key that unlocks the entire pattern. So, how do we get from this phrase to that crazy string of sevens? Let's break down that first calculation. All right, let's tackle that unforgettable string of sevens. The whole process kicks off by creating a number that's based entirely on the location of a specific word. So, believe it or not, the entire calculation starts with the location of a single word. We take the surah number, which is 15, the ayah or verse number, which is 87, and the position of the word in the verse, which in this first example is the third word. That's it. Those three numbers are our only inputs. And the process itself is surprisingly straightforward. First, you just take those three location numbers, 15, 87, and 3, and you just stick them together side by side to form one single number, 15,873. Then the method says to multiply that number by 7 and then multiply that new result by 7 one more time. And boom, there it is. The result is 777,777. A really simple set of operations on the location data leads directly to this highly patterned number. But, that's only half the story. So now let's look at that second pattern. What's so incredible here is that it uses the exact same logic from the exact same verse, but it just shifts its focus ever so slightly. This time, the input string points to the same place, Surah 15, Ayah 87. But instead of the third word, it uses the sixth word. That is literally the only thing that changes in the entire setup. So just like we did before, we take the location identifiers, 15, 87, and now 6, and we combine them to form a single number, 15,876. So what's so special about this number? Well, it turns out that 15,876 is a perfect square. It's precisely 126 multiplied by 126. So you have two different words in the same verse, generating two very distinct and mathematically fascinating patterns, all from their location data. Okay, so we've walked through the how, we've seen the source first, and we've seen the simple calculations that lead to these pretty remarkable results. This, of course, brings us to the much, much bigger and more complex question. What does any of this actually mean? I mean, after seeing how these numbers are supposedly derived from the text's own structure, you have to ask this question. Is this some kind of evidence of a hidden signature, maybe an intentional mathematical layer that was encoded into the text from the beginning? Or
Could there be another explanation?
And that's really the question we want to leave you with. Is this proof of a deliberate, hidden design, or is it an example of something called apophenia, which is our brain's powerful and sometimes tricky tendency to see meaningful patterns in what might actually be just random noise? Is it a divine code, or is it a human coincidence? We'll let you be the judge.